How do we celebrate the Eid festival coming up in a couple of days? This is a festival that marks the legacy of Abraham. Let me turn to my guest, Imaam Habeeb. The Eid coming up in a couple of days. First of all, I'm delighted that this Eid is going to be celebrated by the vast majority of Muslims all on the same day, on Monday.
Oh yes, I'm very grateful. I'm very excited about that. However, that having been said, that most of the places are celebrating on the 8th, you still have a set of people who are not doing that. And again, while we are trying our levels best to ensure some sort of understanding on both sides and even some sort of a unity, we shouldn't be disheartened, because this nobody controls the minds of people. And secondly, this has been an age-old long situation. And thirdly, the moon is one moon, but there are always a number of issues surrounding it upon its visibility, as we will learn from scientific community. So having said that, to each and everyone out there, Eid Mubarak.
Yeah, Eid Mubarak to everyone. What would be the best way to, in your opinion, to resolve the differences that Muslims generally have regarding the sighting of the crescent?
Dialogue. Dialogue for me, this is my mantra in life, dialogue to understanding is what blood is to the body. We're not talking enough. I must congratulate yourself and the center for putting on a forum recently among the scholars here to discuss this issue and related issue. But it's always one camp believing that they know it all and the other camp mistrusting the evidences produced by the other camp, etc. This should be a dialogue that is ongoing among scholars and leaders and the public, so that we can reach some kind of amity. And when it comes to unity, sometimes you have to sacrifice some of your own thoughts and your own situations, like the famous story of Abdullah bin Mas'ud in the Hajj and Uthman. Abdullah says, well, he saw the Prophet praying 2 rak'ah, and Uthman says, no, we're going to do 4 rak'ah. And they had that contention, but yes, Abdullah bin Mas'ud joined him in his prayers, and people said, well, you have a different opinion, but you still join him in prayers. I said, well, of course, but which is more important? Is it the sunnah of 2 and 4, or is it the fard of the unity and the love and the brotherhood?
Recently, it has been proposed that instead of the traditional method of physically sighting the moon, it will be more in the spirit of the tradition to actually use the available knowledge that we have from astronomy about the precise location of the moon and the visibility of the crescent. Do you think that there is scope in the Islamic Sharia to allow for this even to be discussed?
Definitely there is scope, because the people who are insisting upon the visibility and the naked eye sighting and looking for the actual moon, they are guided by astronomical calculations, and they would say to you, well, this is the sunnah, is to look. And in the Sharia, we know that the sunnah has its place, but also jaiz and jawaz and allow, and something being allowed also has its place. Just like something being compulsion, fard has its place, something not allowed and haram has its place. So we have to look at the spectrum of the Sharia when we are dealing with these issues, and not necessarily, well, this has been the tradition. As for our history, in the Kuwaiti Museum, we have the first lunar timetable existing until today. So did Muslims have that tradition? Of course we have had that tradition. Interestingly, even the people on the calculations, they also need to recognize that the sunnah that has been followed throughout the ages, is what has really built the credibility of the calculation. So they also cannot go about and making statements that we do not need the sunnah. And most importantly, I want our leaders and our public to understand that we have a more important issue here. It's about the employability of our members, the examinations of our students, the surgeon doing a major operation for our patients, and the flights of our business people, etc. That is really to be taken into consideration when you're looking at these announcements. And if the calendar...
So you feel that if we have the date set in advance based on the calculated method, this will facilitate all of these professions?
Definitely, and as I'm saying again, this is I am part of the Hilal committee. However, and they have been guided by astronomical calculations tentatively while they look for the moon as far as in Guyana and the Caribbean, to allow a greater flexibility in establishing a date early, and even as it happened now, to have something coinciding. But having said that, at the same time, I'm always hoping that in our discussions and our deliberations, we will look closer and closer of having the calculation becoming our main guide, because we'll facilitate the community and whatever is happening in the community.
Okay, we only have about a minute left for this segment. Can you tell us in brief what this Eid really is all about? I mean, apart from all of the moon sighting issues, what do we actually do on the day of this celebration?
Eid al-Adha, as it's called, is the Eid of the sacrifice. I don't like the word sacrifice for the simple reason that this is not an offering to our God on a specific time, but this is more of a donation that we are making. This is more a charity that we are making in commemoration to the fact that Abraham, thousands of years ago, saw in a dream that he should sacrifice and he should give up the thing that he loves best, which happened to be his first son Ishmael, according to one of our traditions. And later on, God, seeing that he was really ready to do this, said, okay, take a lamb instead. The tradition has continued with them in a number of faiths in the past, and Islam, 1400 years now, has maintained that tradition. So after the Hajj pilgrimage, Muslims will do that. Muslims who are not making the Hajj will be doing that. And they will be sharing the meat among their friends and their neighbors. But most importantly, for me here in Toronto, is for us to give our Qurbani and to do this donation and do this charity at home, because we have thousands of people out here in the daily food banks who really need this kind of a meat.
So if a Muslim here wants to participate in this charitable act of offering the sacrifice for the sake of God and now to distribute the meat, what is the most convenient or simplest way for a Muslim to participate in this?
Yeah, we have been doing this. Last year we sent the meat to the Young Street Mission. They have a lot of Muslims who are coming there to receive food every day, and they need halal meat. And you can check us out at nemf.ca, or you can call me 416-823-1738, or through yourself and your center, and we will purchase whatever is the amount. We will purchase the animal locally, get it slaughtered locally, and in a humane way, in a proper facility, and we will deliver it there within those 3 days at the center, the Daily Food Bank Center, so that Muslims and even others, which is perfectly allowed, Muslims and non-Muslims can participate in this meat. It's hygienic, it's halal. Halal means something like kosher, and it's all good for all of us to consume. And again, I want to emphasize this: charity begins at home. Let us not forget our own.
Okay, folks, you'll have our contact information towards the close of our program. We must take a break at the moment, but when we come back, we'll look at some of the most common questions we receive from people like you.